and welcome to Thought Provoking Tech. I'm Zach and this is Tech Tips. In this episode of Tech Tips, I'm going to be going over RDP. It's Microsoft's RDP client, to be more specific. Microsoft's RDP client is very simple, easy to use, and doesn't have a bunch of extra headroom from my experience. I've used a couple other RDP clients that allow remote desktop connections, and I haven't really found them to be just near as good as Microsoft's just built-in system. That includes Chrome Remote Desktop, which is handy because you can just download Chrome, and it's an app that just kind of runs on top of Chrome, and as well as like TeamViewer. So neither one of those options I found just as good as the built-in option. And as long as you have a Windows 10 Pro or a Windows, or not even Windows 10 Pro, a Windows Pro computer or a Windows Server OS, you can actually allow remote desktop connections to your computer. So what this will enable is you to have a cheaper laptop, and you can remote into your high-powered gaming desktop or workstation desktop. For gaming applications, remote desktop connections still aren't quite there, but there are some technologies for streaming gaming over your local area connection, as well as over the internet even. The internet ones are still more in the infancy stages. They've been around for a while. But PlayStation Now actually has just come to PC, so it's streaming over your internet. And as long as you have a very low latency connection and decent download and uplink connections, you're actually pretty good with those. But for this application, it's more going to be for productivity software. So if you're running, you want to use like Adobe software on a low-end laptop, you can use your processing power of your desktop to use it from your living room while you're watching TV or whatever. You can also allow remote connections. By default, most houses don't have a static IP, so connecting is a lot more challenging. But there are alternatives or ways around that. One of those that I might show off later is LogMe and Hamachi. I use that pretty regularly. It's very solid in my experience, and you can essentially your desktop will show up as a remote or in your network. You can just right click on it and choose to remotely connect to it. So if you're wanting to allow remote connections on like a desktop or something, all you need to do is to type allow into the Windows search, and that'll bring up allow remote access to your computer. If your search is being weird or whatever at the time, you can just type that whole string and it should come right up. So by clicking on that, you can see that I have allow remote connections to this computer checked, and I've kept the remote desktop with network level authentication, and that's recommended. I would definitely keep that checked and just allow remote connections to this computer. That's all you have to do. And now you're ready to actually connect to your computer. It's really honestly that simple. So say I'm going to actually connect to a server I run on Amazon Web Services. I've already have the server running, and I have the IP over here in this area right there. Now, if you wanted to connect to your computer, all you have to do is just find your local IP. And if you don't know how to do that, it's very simple too. So this is if you're wanting to connect from like your laptop to your desktop processing instead of a remote server running on the internet for extra power. So you type run, and in there you type cmd in the open. In cmd, you're going to type ipconfig space /all, not semicolon. You're going to type that in. Then you're going to find your network adapter. If you're on a wired connection, that's going to be Ethernet, or if you're on a wireless one, that'll be a Wi-Fi adapter. So in there, you're going to find your IP4 address, or possibly your IP6 address. But if you on your local network, you're definitely going to have IP4 that you can connect to with. That's very easy to remember. You can set your computer up to have a static IP on your local network, and that will allow you to never have to. You just remember that one, IP address, and you can connect to it all the time. So now to actually connect, say you're doing an RDP client, you hit your Windows button again and type RDP. If I could type today, that'd be work very good. And again, if your search isn't working, just type remote desktop connection. That'll bring up Windows RDP client, the remote desktop connection application. I'll go ahead and hit show all options, and the first thing I'll do is remove the username field because my Amazon web server is not using Microsoft's authentication to log in as a user. Beyond that, I will. You have a bunch of options. You can go from full screen. You can set it to be a little bitty window. I just use full screen. You can resize it, and it's very good about resizing. But if you're having bad connection and you just really need to do something, you can set it to a lower resolution to help go around your limited bandwidth. And then you have all kinds of options if you want to share your printers, your clipboard, all kinds of stuff. You can turn experience stuff. You can set your detection. If you're running off a LAN, just always set that up to WAN or LAN. And if you're using internet, you can set it to WAN, or you can just set it to auto detect, and it'll automatically detect what your connection is. And that has worked very good for me. So there's tons of options in here to fine tune your experience if you're having issues. So once again, I'm going to remove that. I already have my IP address of the remote computer already typed in. If you're connecting to your desktop again, that is where the IP config. That is where you would enter the IP of your desktop from, and this is if you're running on your laptop or even tablets. There are remote desktop connection applications that use the same tools on like a Microsoft Surface or something. So like the Surface 3, which is a very light-end computer, essentially a tablet that you could have the full processing power to edit After Effects videos or Premiere Pro or Photoshop or anything really. So you could really utilize your device wherever you're really wanting to. So I'm going to go ahead and connect, and I'm going to hit use a different account. Also on here, if you're connecting like on a LAN connection, that is always going to have the static IP, or if you're connecting to a remote server that's always on the same IP, you can actually save your connection settings. And if you have your username, it'll automatically fill that in, and you'll just have to enter your password credentials when you connect every time. And then that'll essentially make an icon on your desktop that you just click, and actually I'll just cancel out just so that. So I'm just going to backspace that. And this is my remote connection is not on a static IP, but for this example, it'll work. So I can go ahead and close this. I've set my settings up. If I click on this, it'll actually automatically try to connect, and I'm going to actually enter a non-Microsoft account. So I'm just going to enter my username and my password. And via that button, you're going to be able to easily connect. This certificate thing will probably come up. Just hit yes, because you know you're connected to a computer that you trust. So there you have it. Now I am now connected to a remote desktop. This is one of our WAN, and my internet here isn't awesome by any means. So I have 2 bars. It says it's good, but ideally, if you're going to be using this all the time, you'll want at least 3, but the latency is, even with a 2-bar connection, it's still pretty good. So once again, like with your wide area network, you're not going to be doing a lot of like anything along the lines of high latency applications like gaming or anything along those lines, but you can do anything, that isn't as latency dependent. So like if you have a low-end machine at home, you could have an RDP or a Amazon server that you just run when you need it, and you have very high performance for short periods of video editing or product design using like one of Autodesk's design programs, like Inventor or Revit or something along those lines. So it allows you to utilize a low-end machine with high-end performance through the RDP client. So that's essentially everything about RDP. There's some things that you might have to fine tune, but you should just be able to connect just like that and without any issues. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the thing, because with my thing, my server, once I shut it down, it's not going to be working anymore. Now, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just feel free to message me on Twitter. I'll have my Twitter handle in the description below, and I'll try to answer any questions you have, or if you're having any weird issues utilizing RDP. If you liked this video and you thought it was helpful, make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel for more great videos. I have some very cool stuff coming with 3D printing and some more kind of in-depth projects using Arduinos and Raspberry Pis coming that'll kind of, some of them will even utilize this RDP knowledge, which is why I made this video, because I'll be using that with the Pi and other things just for as a basis, so I didn't have to kind of go over this part of it over and over and over again. I can just reference this video if you don't know what RDP is. So once again, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and until next time, Zach out.